The recording. The package was on my doorstep when I got home from the gym. No return address, no postage, just a brown padded envelope with my name written on it in neat block letters. Marcus Cole. Like someone had walked up to my apartment building, climbed 3 flights of stairs, and left it there by hand. I almost threw it away. I get weird stuff sometimes. That's the price of having a true crime podcast with 150,000 subscribers. People send me things. Newspaper clippings, court documents, their own theories about cases I've covered. Usually it's harmless. Sometimes it's unsettling. But something about this envelope made me pause. It was the handwriting. Something familiar about it that I couldn't place. Something that made my chest tight in a way I didn't understand. I took it inside, set it on the kitchen counter, stared at it for a long time. Then I opened it. Inside were 5 cassette tapes, each one labeled in the same neat handwriting. Episode 1, Episode 2, Episode 3, Episode 4, Episode 5. And a note. Just 2 words. You're ready. My name is Marcus Cole. I'm 31 years old. I host a podcast called Cold Trial, True Crime, Unsolved Cases, the stories that fell through the cracks. I've been doing it for 6 years, built it from nothing, turned it into something that actually pays my rent. People ask me all the time why I got into this, why I spend my life digging through the worst moments of strangers' lives, cataloging violence and loss, and the terrible things human beings do to each other. I tell them I'm interested in justice, in giving voice to the voiceless, in making sure the forgotten aren't forgotten. That's not the whole truth. The whole truth is that my mother was murdered when I was 6 years old. Her name was Angela Marie Cole. She was 29, a nurse, and, according to everyone who knew her, the kindest person who ever lived. I don't remember much about her, just fragments. The smell of her perfume, the sound of her voice singing me to sleep, a feeling of warmth and safety that I've never quite found again. She was killed in our home on a Tuesday in March, stabbed 17 times. No signs of forced entry, no witnesses, no forensic evidence worth a damn. The case went cold within a year. They never found who did it. And I've spent my entire life trying to understand how someone can just disappear. How a killer can walk away and never be caught. How the world can keep spinning when someone you love has been erased from it. That's why I do what I do. That's why, when I saw those tapes labeled like episodes, something in me knew this was about her. I don't own a cassette player. I had to order one online, wait 3 days for it to arrive. 3 days of staring at those tapes and wondering what was on them and telling myself I should probably call the police. I didn't call the police. When the player arrived, I set it up on my desk, put in the first tape, pressed play. Static. Then ambient sound, the hum of a refrigerator, the tick of a clock, familiar sounds, sounds I knew in my bones without knowing why. And then a voice. My mother's voice. "Marcus, baby, it's time for bed. Come on, let's go brush your teeth." I stopped breathing. I heard myself, my 6-year-old self, whining about wanting to stay up. I heard her laugh, that warm, patient laugh that I'd forgotten I remembered. Heard footsteps, water running, the mundane soundtrack of an evening in 1999. The tape kept playing. Bedtime sounds. A story being read, Goodnight Moon, her voice soft and rhythmic. A kiss. "I love you, baby. I love you too, Mommy." A door closing. Then silence. Then footsteps. Different footsteps, heavier, coming from somewhere in the house. And my mother's voice again, confused. "Hello? Dan? Is that you? You're home, She stopped. A long pause. "Oh, it's you. What are you doing here? Is everything okay? Another pause, longer. What's wrong? Why are you looking at me like that? What's in your hand? I listened to my mother die. I listened to her scream, then fight, then beg. I listened to sounds I can't describe and won't try to. I listened to 17 stab wounds being inflicted while I slept in the next room, 6 years old, dreaming whatever dreams 6-year-olds dream. It took 4 minutes. When it was over, there was heavy breathing, heavy, satisfied, and then a voice, calm, almost gentle. Sleep tight, Marcus. I'll see you soon. The tape ended. I threw up in my kitchen sink. I didn't listen to the other tapes that night. I couldn't. I sat on my bathroom floor until the sun came up, shaking, crying, trying to understand what I'd just heard. Someone had been in my house that night. Someone had recorded my mother's murder. Someone had kept that recording for 23 years and then sent it to me. You're ready. Ready for what? I called the one person I always call when my world falls apart. Marcus. My Aunt Diane's voice was warm with concern. Honey, it's 6 a.m. Is everything okay? No, I said. No, it's not. Can you come over, please? She was there in 40 minutes. She lives across town, works as an office manager for a dental practice, has been the one constant in my life since my mother died. When my father shut down, not from lack of love, but from grief and the crushing weight of raising a child alone while working 60 hours a week, Diane stepped in. She watched me after school, helped me with homework, came to my baseball games when Dad couldn't make it. She was there for every important moment of my life. She was there now, sitting on my couch, holding my hand while I told her about the tapes. Oh, Marcus. Her face was pale, stricken. Oh, honey. Have you called the police? Not yet. I needed to talk to you first. Of course you did. She squeezed my hand. Play it for me. I need to hear what you heard. I hesitated. It's bad, Diane. It's really bad. I know. Her eyes were steady. But we're going to figure this out together, like we always do. I played her the tape. She listened without flinching. When it was over, she pulled me into a hug and held me while I cried. We'll find them, she said. Whoever did this, we'll find them. I promise. I called in sick to my day job, canceled my podcast recording schedule. For the next week, I did nothing but investigate. The police were useless. They took my statement, took the first tape as evidence, and told me they'd look into it. I could see in their eyes that a 25-year-old cold case wasn't going to be anyone's priority. So, I did what I do. I dug. And Diane helped. She came over every evening after work, brought dinner, sat with me while I went through old case files I'd obtained through Freedom of Information Act requests, while I mapped out timelines, while I listened to the other tapes. Because there were other tapes, and they weren't recordings of the murder. They were messages, to me, from the killer. Episode 2. Hello, Marcus. I hope the first tape wasn't too upsetting. I know it's a lot to process, but you need to hear it. You needed to understand where you came from. I've been watching you for a long time, since that night, actually. I've watched you grow up, watched you struggle, watched you become the man you are today. And I've helped when I could. Do you remember Mrs. Patterson, your third-grade teacher, the one who told your father you had a gift for writing, that you should be encouraged to pursue it? She and I had a conversation. I can be very persuasive. Do you remember the scholarship, the one that came out of nowhere your senior year, just enough to cover the gap between financial aid and tuition? You thought that was luck. It wasn't luck. I've been with you, Marcus, every step of the way, guiding you, shaping you, helping you become who you were meant to be. Episode 3. Your podcast, Cold Trail. I'm so proud of it. So proud of you. Do you know why you started it? You think you do. You think it was your idea, your passion, your way of processing your mother's death. But do you remember who bought you your first recording equipment? Who suggested you start small, build an audience, focus on cases that hadn't been covered? Who shared your early episodes with people who shared them with other people until suddenly you had a following? I've been building you, Marcus, piece by piece, episode by episode. You're my greatest work. I played the tapes for Diane, watched her face cycle through shock, horror, disgust. "This is insane," she said. "This person is insane. They've been stalking you your entire life." "I know. The scholarship. Do you really think they—" "I don't know. Maybe. I don't know what's real anymore." She took my hand. "We're going to find them, okay? We're going to end this." She stayed the night that night, made me tea, told me stories about my mother, how they'd been best friends since childhood, how Angela had been the beautiful one, the popular one, the one everyone loved. "I was always a little jealous," Diane admitted. "She had this light about her. Everything came so easy. You never told me that." "It doesn't matter now," she smiled sadly. "What matters is finding out who did this to her. Both of you." Episode 4 changed everything. Let's talk about the night your mother died. You've always wondered, haven't you? Why her? Why that night? Was it random? Was it targeted? Did she know her killer? She did. She knew her killer very well. The police looked for evidence of forced entry and found none. They looked for signs of a struggle at the door, and none found. They assumed the killer was skilled, careful, professional. They were wrong. There was no forced entry because the door was unlocked. The killer had a key, actually, but didn't need it. Angela always left the side door unlocked when she was expecting someone. She was expecting someone that night, Marcus. Someone she trusted completely. I called Diane immediately. "Someone she trusted," I said. "Someone she was expecting. That narrows it down. That has to narrow it down." "It does." Diane's voice was thoughtful. "Who did she trust? Who had access?" We made a list. My father, obviously, but he'd been at work, clocked in, alibi airtight. My grandparents, both dead now. A few close friends, neighbors. Diane. Her name was on the list. Of course it was. She'd been Angela's best friend. She had a key to the house. She came and went freely. I looked at it on the paper and felt sick for even writing it. "I know what you're thinking," Diane said quietly, "and you're right to think it. Everyone should be a suspect. Even me." "Diane, no, Marcus, you need to approach this like a journalist, like the professional you are." She met my eyes. "I didn't kill your mother. I loved her like a sister. But I understand why my name is on that list, and I won't be offended if you have to consider it." "I don't really think." "I know you don't, but check anyway, for your own peace of mind." She stood up, gathered her things. "I have to go. Early morning tomorrow, but call me when you've listened to the last tape. We'll figure out where to go from there." She kissed my forehead on her way out. "I'm so proud of you," she said. "You know that, right? Everything you've become? I'm so proud." Episode 5. It's time to meet, Marcus. You've been so patient, so dedicated. You've grown into exactly the man I hoped you'd be. There's a restaurant called Millie's downtown on the corner of 5th and Ash. Friday night, 8 o'clock. Come alone. Don't be afraid. This is what you've been working toward your whole life. I'll be waiting. Friday night. I sat in a booth at Millie's, A family restaurant with red vinyl seats and laminate tables and the smell of coffee and fried food. The kind of place that's been there forever. The kind of place where nothing bad could possibly happen. I told the police about the meeting. They'd wanted to set up surveillance, bring in a team, make an arrest. I'd agreed to wear a wire. But sitting there, waiting, I realized I'd already decided something. I needed to see their face. Needed to understand, before the cops rushed in, before the handcuffs and the lawyers and the trial. I needed one moment of clarity. I needed to know why. The door opened at exactly 8 o'clock. My Aunt Diane walked in. She saw me and smiled, that warm, familiar smile I'd known my whole life. She walked over to my booth, slid in across from me, and reached out to pat my hand. "Hello, sweetheart." I couldn't speak, couldn't breathe. The world had tilted sideways, and I was falling. "It's okay," she said. "I know this is a lot. Take your time." "It was you." The words came out cracked, broken. "The tapes, it was you." "Yes." "You killed her. You killed my mother." "Yes." I stood up, knocked over my water glass, had to get out, had to run, I noticed the other patrons. They were all looking at me. Every single one of them. Men, women, a teenager in the corner. All of them had stopped eating, stopped talking, and turned to watch me with eyes that held nothing human. "Sit down, Marcus." Diane's voice was calm, pleasant. "Please." I looked at the door, looked at the watching faces, looked at the woman I'd trusted more than anyone in the world. I sat down. "That's better," she smiled. "I know you have questions. I'll answer them, all of them. You've earned that." "Why?" It was all I could manage. She was quiet for a moment. Her face shifted, the warmth draining away, leaving something older underneath. Something patient, something that had been waiting a long time to speak. "I loved your father first," she said. "Did you know that? We dated in high school. He was my whole world. And then Angela came along. Beautiful, perfect Angela. And he forgot I existed." She traced a pattern on the table with her finger. "I was going to be his wife. I was going to be your mother. She stole that from me. She stole my whole life." "So you murdered her?" "I took back what was mine." Her eyes met mine. "And I've been the mother you deserved ever since. I've loved you, Marcus, raised you, shaped you into something remarkable. Everything you are, you owe to me." "You're insane." "I'm honest. There's a difference." She gestured at the silent diners around us. "These people understand. We look after our own. We're a society of sorts. People who've done what needed to be done and gotten away with it. We help each other, protect each other." I felt the wire against my chest. The police were listening. They had to be coming. Diane smiled like she knew exactly what I was thinking. "The wire won't work in here. We have certain precautions. No one is coming to save you, Marcus. No one but me, the same person who's always saved you." "What do you want?" She reached across the table and took my hand. Her grip was gentle, familiar, terrible. "I want what I've always wanted. To be loved, to be appreciated, to have the family that should have been mine." Her thumb stroked my knuckles. "You're my son, Marcus, in every way that matters. I made you. I shaped you. And now I need you to accept that." "And if I don't?" She didn't answer, just glanced around the restaurant at the watching faces, then back at me. "Everyone you love," she said softly. "Everyone you've ever cared about. Your father, your friends, that girl you've been seeing Emma, is it? They're all so vulnerable, Marcus. The world is so dangerous. You're threatening to kill them. I'm explaining the stakes. She squeezed my hand. I don't want to hurt anyone else. I never did. Your mother, that was necessary. But I've been good since then. I've been so good. All I want is a family. All I want is for you to love me the way I deserve to be loved. I stared at her, at the face I'd known my whole life, the hands that had bandaged my scraped knees, the voice that had read me stories when I was sick, that had talked me through heartbreak and failure, that had told me she was proud of me 1,000 times. I'm so proud of you. She'd said it on the tapes. She'd said it 100 times before. And I believed her, loved her, trusted her completely. Say it, Marcus. Her voice was soft, almost pleading. Tell me you love me. Tell me I'm your family. That's all I need to hear. The restaurant was silent, every eye on me, every face blank and watching. My Aunt Diane, my mother's murderer, sat across from me with hope in her eyes, and I opened my mouth to answer.